In the past 2 months, Dongguan has seen a surprising revival. Once known as the world's factory, the city has turned its focus to a booming nightlife scene. Dancing halls, nightclubs, bars, KTVs, and even official night markets are opening, bringing new life to the city. After years of economic struggles marked by factory closures and relocations, the local government is now betting on the nightlife economy to bring a much-needed turnaround. Dongguan is back. The city is pulling out all the stops. The nightlife economy is fully reopening, and that familiar entertainment hub is back. Since the crackdown in 2014, Dongguan's economy took a serious hit. But now, the city is fast-tracking approvals for bars, performances, and all kinds of entertainment activities. This is Dongguan's big comeback. It's bringing the city back to its former glory. It's a revival we've been waiting for 10 years for. With many unemployed women flocking to Dongguan, hoping to start a business of their own. This shift in focus is gaining a momentum.
Guys, we can't keep going like this. We just can't. Remember when we said we would go home and live off our families? Turns out we can't even do that. You all know we usually shoot videos and eat out, and those costs add up. We don't have jobs, no income, and the house still needs renovation. We've got that poverty label stuck to us. So what do? Maybe we should go to Dongguan and start a business. Business is tough everywhere, but don't worry, our business will do just fine. Let's go to Dongguan and make it happen.
Walking through the streets of Dongguan now, you can see bars and nightclubs being renovated and reopening. Does this mean Dongguan's economy is about to take off again? Looks like we in the women's fashion business are in for some good news. This shift began on July 14th when the Dongguan government introduced a new policy aimed at boosting the service sector. The plan focuses on activating nighttime consumer activity by streamlining the approval process for entertainment performances at venues like bars and KTVs. Many view this as the most significant policy change in Dongguan in the past decade. While the government hasn't explicitly addressed the adult entertainment industry, Dongguan's past reputation for such services is well known. In its prime, alongside manufacturing, the sex industry was a key part of the local economy, earning the city the nickname China's sex capital.
Let me share something you might not know. A hotel owner, not just any regular hotel owner, mentioned that the earliest places to implement standardized management and customer service weren't Beijing or Shanghai, it was Dongguan. Back then, foreign guests from Hong Kong, aside from knowing Beijing, were also aware of Dongguan. Why? Because Dongguan offered services that exceeded their imagination. It's no exaggeration to say that most people can't imagine what Dongguan was like. A veritable goldmine of services. Things like body sushi, beauty banquets, and grand feasts were just the tip of the iceberg compared to what was available in Dongguan. Even items that only existed in books like beauty paper were openly priced in Dongguan. I asked him a question. If you had unlimited money to spend on the most luxurious treatment, how far can 100 million yuan get you in Dongguan? He replied that the most luxurious treatment would last just 4 months. 4 months might seem short, but if you break it down, that's about 820,000 yuan a day. To put it into perspective, if a regular worker earns 5,000 yuan a month, that 820,000 yuan could cover a worker's salary for 13 years and 8 months. That's the kind of power Dongguan once had.
However, this all came to a halt in 2014 when the government launched a major crackdown on the sex industry under the banner of sweeping away prostitution and organized crime. In one night, KTVs and hotels were shut down. Over 2,000 entertainment venues were closed, and the sex industry shrank dramatically. Many of the once popular venues, such as the 5-star Prince Hotel, have now fallen into ruin, overgrown with weeds, yet the tall columns and fading signs still tell stories of the past. Now, Dongguan has reopened its nightlife venues, and is stirring up excitement. Bars and nightclubs are being renovated and reopening. Some even believe that the long-dormant city has finally awakened after more than a decade. But not everyone is convinced by the plan. Some point out the challenges. Opening up is one thing, but there's no money to spend. The factories are gone, and Taiwan-funded and foreign businesses have left. The businesses that once supported Dongguan's economy are no longer here, so what's the point? Other comments read, no orders, no factories, no jobs, and no money. How can anyone afford to hire workers? They're still charging to enter villages, collecting every last cent in taxes. who would want to spend money in the future? The legend from back then can't be recreated. It's gone. Time is different now, so how could it ever return? Do you think those 820,000 yuan a night were spent by delivery drivers or Didi Kofers? Wake up. It was foreign businesses with orders worth billions. It was high-ranking officials greedily pocketing tens of billions. As the commenters have pointed out, by 2025, China's economy will face a complete collapse. The Chinese government can no longer hold on, and Dongguan has once again become a testing ground, trying to revive the consumer market by opening its nightlife economy. However, Dongguan is no longer what it used to be. Its manufacturing industry has already collapsed, capital has fled, and those who could afford to spend have long since left. Moreover, with young people increasingly focused on downgraded consumption, even lifting the ban on the entertainment industry will only energize the low-end, cheap consumer market. Relying on the entertainment market to save the economy is nothing more than a fantasy. Here's what a financial expert from Guangdong thinks about Dongguan's move to open its nightlife economy.
You know why entertainment flourishes when the economy is bad? In Dongguan, the entertainment industry, bars, hotels, these inns, are opening up again. Do you remember how intense the crackdown was back then? Dongguan was practically wiped out. They arrested so many women in one night, and Hong Kong guests were carted away by the busload. They shut down everything. So why open it up again now? The policy encourages people to spend, telling you to go hang out at a bar or enjoy a hotel. In tough times, people crave cheap pleasures, and entertainment could actually thrive. But the entertainment I'm talking about is low end. It's the affordable kind. People are cutting back on high-end spending, buying houses, luxury cars, or expensive goods. By spending a few hundred yuan to sing at KTV or have a drink, people can still afford that.
Dongguan was once a major industrial hub in the Pearl River Delta and is known worldwide as the world's factory. But times have changed. Today, the city is facing an unprecedented downturn in manufacturing. A wave of factory closures has brought the economy to a standstill, casting a shadow over the city. Second-hand equipment dealers are the most direct witnesses to this collapse. On September 5th, a second-hand equipment dealer filmed a video at a factory in Dalang Township, Dongguan, after a shutdown. The video explains that this was an injection molding factory. The worn-out floor indicates that it had been operating for many years, but the current economic climate, it was unable to survive and ultimately closed. With factory closures far outnumbering new openings, the dealer's warehouse is overloading with equipment that can't even be sold, forcing it to be treated as scrap metal.
大量工厂倒闭.
So many factories are closing down. The number has been growing since August. Look around. Our machines are piling up in the aisles, completely filling the space. Since August, the market here in Shenzhen and Dongguan keeps getting worse. I don't even know how things are in other parts of Guangdong. A friend of mine came in and asked how much equipment costs per ton. Now we're talking about machines by the ton. These machines are piling up, and I have no idea what to do with them. I have no confidence in September. Surviving factories are struggling to stay afloat, facing a shortage of orders, thin profit margins, and sluggish market, and low investment interest. Everyone's just hanging on. Nobody's doing well right now. It looks like there are barely any orders, and the few we got don't make a profit. If we don't take them, we lose out. But if we do, the workers still have nothing to do, and there's no way to cover expenses. Look around now. Today is the weekend, and there are hundreds of machines here, and not a single person, not a single customer. What do we do? What's going to happen if this keeps going on? Everyone's just holding on. The reality is no one wants to invest in manufacturing anymore, no matter how new or advanced the equipment is. Unless absolutely necessary, nobody wants to invest. There's so-called high-end machines, CNC machines, and lathes. Some have been here for months, and some are brand new, still not even in use. The whole shop is full, and there's not a single person working. How is this market going to survive? Some local sources have revealed that around 70 to 80% of the manufacturing factories in Dongguan and Shenzhen are currently losing money. Those that are breaking even are considered strong companies. Factories are lining up to close down, and new factories are virtually non-existent. As a result, second-hand equipment collected from these factories is left unsold and ultimately becomes scrap metal. Dongguan's manufacturing industry once had an incredibly glorious history, particularly in the electronics sector. While Shenzhen is known as the electronics capital, Dongguan earned the title of the global electronics manufacturing workshop. For example, Dongguan played a key role in the global smartphone assembly, component production, and supply chain. It hosted numerous factories, including Foxconn, Luxshare Precision, and Flextronics, serving brands like Apple, Samsung, Huawei, Oppo, and Vivo. Between 2015 and 2016, the global smartphone market peaked, with annual shipments reaching about 1.5 billion units, of which China contributed 80 to 90%. The Pearl River Delta accounted for the largest share, and Dongguan contributed around 30 to 40% of the region's smartphone capacity, producing approximately 250 million to 400 million units annually. But since 2016, global smartphone production has declined, and the industry and capital flowing out of the country, Dongguan's smartphone production capacity has only shrunk year by year. In 2022, its production fell to less than 200 million units, less than half of its peak, signaling the end of the world's factory era. Smartphones are just one example of Dongguan's manufacturing sector, and its decline is evident from broader economic data. In 2021, Dongguan's GDP surpassed 1 trillion yuan, and the population exceeded 10 million, making a peak for the city. By 2022, however, the impact of the pandemic and the continued outflow of the supply chain led to the GDP growth rate of only 0.6%, far below Guangdong's average of 1.9%, nearly falling into stagnation. In the first half of 2023, under the broader context of post-pandemic economic recovery, Dongguan grew by only 1.5%, ranking last among the 21 cities in Guangdong and second to last among major cities nationwide. Even more concerning, in the first half of 2023, Dongguan's industrial output above designated size dropped by 5.9% compared to the previous year. The electronics industry, a cornerstone of Dongguan's economy, was hit hardest, with the electronic equipment manufacturing sector declining by 5%, and the electrical machinery manufacturing sector by 7.4%. This shows a substantial shrinkage in Dongguan's key industries, which is a major blow for an industrial city. The sharp decline in export orders is another key issue causing factory underperformance and negative industrial growth. Chinese official statistics show that in the first half of 2023, Dongguan's foreign trade exports fell by 11.3%, with exports decreasing by 9.4%. This led to an economic growth rate of only 2.6% for the entire year, far behind Shenzhen and Guangzhou, and has been described by media as an economic slowdown. Data from 2024 shows slight recovery, with GDP growing by 4.6%, but still below the national growth rate of 5%. The government claims the economy is stabilizing, but many people feel the situation is getting worse each month. This sense of despair is especially visible in Dongguan's empty factories and the quiet streets of Chang'an Township, where the contrast is striking. Dongguan's economy has long been highly dependent on foreign trade, with an export reliance rate once reaching 82.5%. The uncertainty of the U.S. tariff barriers and the China-U.S. trade war in 2025 have dealt a further blow to Dongguan's export-oriented businesses. Behind these numbers are the real stories of numerous business closures. In 2023, around 3,500 companies shut down or relocated across industries like furniture, clothing, electronics, and textiles. The wave of closures continued into 2025. On June 25th, Celestica's subsidiary, Celestica Dongguan SSL Technology Limited, announced its closure. Established in 2004, this major electronics manufacturer's exit from China marks another chapter in Dongguan's manufacturing decline. Dongguan's once thriving, first strong town, Chang'an, now faces a bleak scene with closed shops and factories. Notices for factory rentals can be seen everywhere in the industrial area. Dongguan's most prosperous town, all because of the BBK Electronics. Once it was impossible to find a shop on the street. Rents were in the tens of thousands. Let me show you the current state of Chang'an. This shop has changed owners a few times. The old one closed, and now a new one has opened. The whole street is up for rent. Across from us, Boasting has closed down. Can you imagine that? Even the shops near Chang'an's hospital are empty. This is Chang'an Hospital, a prime location, but now it's just empty. Look across, it's all shuttered businesses. I've been in Chang'an for over 20 years, and this is the first time I've seen such a disaster. Shops closed down in droves. It's never happened before. Even during the pandemic, we didn't see this. This is Changqing Road, probably the busiest street in Dongguan. And here, more shops are closing down. Dongguan's prosperity is gone, and it's not coming back. The wave of factory closures has led to serious social issues. Many business owners have fled or gone missing, and workers are unable to collect their wages, forcing them to take to the streets to fight for their rights. Many others have been forced to return to their hometowns early or remain in Dongguan, facing unemployment. There have been multiple reports of unemployed people sleeping on the streets. In May 2024, a video showed a group of young workers who, unable to pay rent due to unemployment, were forced to sleep in abandoned concrete pipes on the outskirts of the city. They were dubbed rat people. In an open area of Chang'an, large concrete pipes have been turned into makeshift collective dorms. During the day, the unemployed ride share bicycles looking for odd jobs, and at night, they collect discarded bottles to sell for a living. These scenes resemble the Great Depression, but are happening today in the heart of the Pearl River Delta's manufacturing hub. Facing the severe challenges in the manufacturing sector and the economic downturn, the Dongguan government is trying to stimulate the city's growth by developing its nighttime economy. However, many analysts believe Dongguan is unlikely to recreate its former glory. On one hand, the rise of influencer-driven trends has inflated the appearance of nighttime consumerism. On the other, economic struggles have left people with both the unwillingness and the inability to spend. With these two factors combined, Dongguan's attempt to revive itself through the nighttime economy may just be another unfulfilled government wish. Recently, the owner of a Dongguan KTV shared the real situation of the nightlife industry.
东莞激发夜间消费功能。
Dongguan is trying to revive nighttime consumption with bars and karaoke boxes, claiming the economy will take off. What a joke. Today, I'll show you the real state of Dongguan's karaoke boxes and bars. This is one of our latest projects, and all the sofas and coffee tables were specially designed by our company. In the last 2 years, Dongguan's nightlife hit rock bottom. Karaoke boxes and bars have had a hard time. Opening up, it's just for show. They've fast-tracked the approvals, but it hasn't really given the nightlife economy the boost it needs. Do you think the good times for your singer girls will ever come back? It's worth noting that in the context of downgraded consumption and the rising wave of youth unemployment, nightlife economies in other cities across China have already struggled.
真的是不容乐观呀。说实话，就
The situation for nightlife in Shanghai is really not looking good. Honestly, if Nezha showed up, he probably wouldn't get a shift. No matter which venue you go to, even when they're packed, they can't all operate. There's just an oversupply of resources.
现在长沙的 YC 真的太难了，禁酒令各种。
Right now, the nightlife in Changsha is really struggling. The alcohol ban and other actions have made it worse every month. Recently, the 100-day crackdown led to a 60% collapse of the nightlife industry. During the recovery period, the previous nightlife leader, Guamao, has been holding up under pressure, renting half the space for short-term use. Even the short-term rental idea didn't work out, and now it's turned into a different type of business. The previous high-end business leader, Wei Gang, used to have over 300 customers a day. Now it's just 200, and a third of them are no-shows. The only one still holding strong is Widnam, but even the JK game halls underneath this are seeing fewer customers every day. When do you think things will recover?
这两天我在成都，应该是再过个10来天吧。
All the nightlife venues in Chengdu have shut down. That's because Chengdu is about to host the city games. You can imagine how these last 2 decades are going to be. Bars and karaoke boxes are going to get hit even harder. Earlier, We had the alcohol ban, and now Chengdu's starting the crackdown again. You know, when we run a karaoke box, if we get 10 months of business in the year, we're doing well, right? It's just so hard. The Chinese Communist Party's policies are often inconsistent and contradictory, changing frequently. Dongguan's focus on the nighttime economy may be just another short-term trend, lacking solid backing, and it is likely to end in failure.